Hello and welcome to Stewie's Thoughts Podcast, episode 71. And in this episode, I'm going to give you my thoughts about what if the Nazis actually won the war? Now, this is no disrespect to anybody who fought in the war, all men, women, and children that, helped to defeat the Nazis. I'm not disrespecting any of them in any way. I salute them, put my hands up to them. I salute with my left hand there. I salute them, and, this is just my thoughts about what would happen if the Nazis actually did win it. But thankfully, all, the men, women, and children that took part on the Allied side done such an amazing job. We actually defeated the Nazis, so, thumbs up there. But this is literally just me thinking, like, what would it be like if the Nazis actually won? But before we get into it, I'm going to give you my thoughts about what I've been up to recently. Let me have some little background music here once I find it. So, as you can see, the studio is sort of taking off. I put a few things up. It's looking well. I've got a little thing coming tomorrow, and it's, that like on-air sign that you see, like radio stations and stuff. That's going up somewhere. I don't know where. Maybe here somewhere, I don't know. But we've got some of my favorite things that I possess. We've got the handbook for the recently deceased, if anybody knows what movie that's from. 10 points if you know. We've got the sports almanac here again, 10 points if you know what movie that's from. And that's actually the bag that it comes in, and then you get your little futuristic receipt. If anybody wants to know where I got these, just let me know, and then I'll tell you where I got them from. I've got a chessboard on the wall here, hanging upside down. I like playing chess. The pieces are actually in a position. It's a bit of a puzzle. So there's two ways that I can see that you can checkmate, because it's like a puzzle thing, I don't know. And then I've got my flag here. This is a flag that I designed for myself. This is the only flag that I represent. Okay? No other flag. This is my flag. Ruby's Cube, obviously. And if anybody wants to know what this is a pen. Just a pen. And we've obviously got the tablet here, the laptop there. So pretty much nearly done with this studio. I'm pretty much done with the sound quality. I'm pretty happy with that now. It's just the video. It's just the video quality. That's the only thing that I need to work out now. And let me tell you something. I have been trying my best to try and get the camera that I'm using to use it in 4K, because that camera I'm using right now is actually a 4K camera. But as soon as I put it up to 4K, when I start recording it, I'm like, it keeps jerking, keeps skipping, because apparently the lead, the USB lead that goes into the laptop, apparently it's too much information or something that goes into the laptop and it can't process it all, which is why it's skipping. And ChatGPT was like, you need to plug it into a USB 3 port or an adapter. I was like, what the hell is USB 3? So I got like an adapter thing, like an attachment. So it's a USB 3 attachment. Plugged the camera into that, and then plugged it into the computer. And guess what? Started skipping yet again. I'm like, what the hell's going on here? Then it dawned on me. I was like, hang on a second. I'm putting the camera into a USB 3 cable thing, connection thing, whatever you want to call it, and then putting that into USB. So it's still going into the USB. So I think what ChatGPT meant was I need like a computer that has a USB 3 thing in it. But I'm trying to figure it out. It's the only thing left to figure out, I think. And let me tell you something. See, trying to figure all this stuff out, absolute nightmare. Why are things made? Why are things deliberately made hard? Why? Why can't things just be easy? Why can't you just get a camera, a 4K camera, plug it into a laptop, and then it works. No, you can't do that. Why not? Because it's not how it works. You're a camera. Yeah, you've got 4K. Yeah, I know, but it's not as easy as that. And then I'm like trying to figure out everything, and then going on to you end up having to go onto YouTube, and then you get these. Basically, I search like, how do I get this to work? That go on YouTube, and then there's like 10 videos or whatever, and then you go onto one of them, and it's like 20 minutes long, and I'm like, I just want to know one thing. As soon as you log on to it, it's literally like once you go into one of the videos, it's like, hey, you've got a problem with your camera. Is that correct? I'm sitting there looking at the screen. That's correct, yes. Okay. First of all, like and subscribe. And click the notification button. No, just tell me why the camera's not working in 4K. Why is it skipping? That's basically it. Why is my camera skipping in 4K? That's all I want to know. I want to go into a YouTube video and they're like, oh, your camera's skipping when it's on 4K? Yes. Okay, just do this. Right, done. Right, thank you. Like and subscribe at the end, and then that's it. No, these videos on YouTube, right? It's literally like, oh, your camera, it's not working on 4K. No. Well, let me go back to the beginning of history, right? So the Earth was a molten rock. You know what I mean? Oh, camera. Your camera's not working yet. Well, let me take you back to whenever the camera was first invented in the 1800s or whatever. And then they go through the whole history of the world. And then when they're about, oh, okay, now I will tell you why your camera's not working in 4K and why it keeps skipping. Thank God. But first, let's watch this advert. And then it comes to the actual part where they tell you, all you need to do is put it in a different adapter or get a better signal, internet connection. That's it. I'm like, I just sat and watched your video for 50 minutes. The video could be like not even a minute long. I hate these bloody YouTube long stupid videos. Seriously. But anyway, what else have I been up to? So the other night I watched Jumanji, right? You know what Jumanji is? The film where the what do you call it? The game thing, What do you call them? Board games. So it's like a board game, but it comes to life and all that kind of stuff. I'm sure you've seen Jumanji. Here's my thought, right? So Alan Parrish gets sucked into the game, and he gets sucked into Jumanji, and he's there for 26 years or something. Then he gets released, and then all hell breaks loose with all the monkeys, and then the guys running after him, trying to kill him, shoot him and stuff. By the way, that's his dad as well. Did you know that? The person that's hunting Robin Williams is actually Alan Parrish's dad. Same character, but different disguise. Same person, should I say? Different character. Now, whenever they complete the game, Alan Parrish goes back to when he was a kid again, before, Jumanji started. So he time traveled back. So he lived basically for 26 years, or whatever it is, and then went back in time. All he would have to do is play that game again, live for another 26 years, complete the game, and then go back. And if you could keep doing that, you're in some sort of a loop, and you could basically live forever. Am I right? Just live forever? Oh, okay, the game's complete, right? We're going to go back to being a kid again, right? Okay, roll the dice. Let's live for another 26 years, and then we'll complete the game, and then we'll go back, and we'll just keep doing that. And then, thousands of years later, you're still doing it. You're still alive. And you'll never get older than, 30. Whatever. That's just my little thought, right? So yesterday, I did an event, and it was SMG's 60th anniversary. So SMG is like a company, and they're celebrating 60 years in business. They only booked me for 2 hours, but felt longer. I was there, and I was just drawn away like mad. Drew, the actual guy who started the company. That was pretty funny, and went down really well. Turns out one of the guests there, I actually did her wedding, which is funny. So it was nice to look back at her wedding photos that I did, and get to chat to her, and she's still married. And I said, I was like, I've drawn caricatures at loads of people's weddings, and there is times where you speak to them after the wedding, like a couple of years down the line, and they're all still married. I don't know if anybody, like any couple that I've done their wedding, I don't know any of them have split up or divorced or anything. I think they're pretty much they're all together. Who knows? But that's me. That's what that is. Me. So I went to Burger King the other day, right? In Oswestry, where my caricature business is based. And Burger King is it's a good 5-minute drive. It's just on the outskirts of Oswestry. And I didn't mind going there, getting the Burger King, driving to the car park, and then walking to the office. I didn't mind that the burger and stuff was going to be a little bit cold, and the chips were going to be a little bit cold. I didn't really care. I just wanted to get a Burger King and eat it in the office. So I went to Burger King, got the Burger King, £15 for a regular meal. That's a burger, a regular fries, and a regular Coke. It was like $14.90 or something, $14.95 or something like that. Rip off. An absolute rip off for a regular meal, right? Burger King, £15. Like, that's mad. What's £15 in £15 in dollars? 19.62 American dollars. So almost $20. £15 for a bloody Burger King, a meal. And it was a regular as well. It wasn't even like a large. So like the chips, you get about 20 chips. Almost like, I don't know, what is it? 30p a chip? Something like that? Maybe? £15, like. I mean, what could you buy for £15 these days? Instead of buying a meal that you're going to eat within like 10 minutes and then crap out of you the next day. What could you buy for 15? What could you buy for, I was going to write the number 4 there, for £15. Gifts under £20, John Lewis. You could get yourself, what the hell is this? Grooming kits, lipstick things, duo thing, that's like £11 something. You can get yourself a Tommy Hilfiger bag for £15. Like, what else can you get here? You can get Lego, £10. You can get some perfume, a lot of makeup stuff. You know, a vase, a John Lewis painted strip vase. Jelly babies, a 300-gram bag of jelly babies for 11 quid. You know what I'm saying though? £15 for a meal, a regular meal, is an absolute, it's a steal. I'm never going back there again. Like, that's probably going to be my last ever Burger King. I'm not paying that there. That's like someone's hours, like somebody's a wage for an hour. I'm on £15 an hour. Oh, work a whole hour and then you can afford a Burger King. Madness. Right, what else we got? And then, by the way, I got that Burger King, right? And then I parked the car up, and then I was walking to the office with the Burger King, and then I was going through the town centre of Oswestry. Some guy walked up to me and goes, "Oh, where did you get that, mate?" And I was like, "Burger King." I did. But right, what are we on? 15. Oh, look at that. Almost 15 minutes, bang on, right? Let's talk about the very, very important topic, which is, what if the Nazis won the war? Now, again, I just want to repeat what I said at the very beginning of this episode. I do not mean any disrespect to any of the Allied forces or anything like that. The beat the Nazis. This is just my thoughts about what happened if they didn't. Okay, so don't get offended or anything by this. But so there's two ways we can attack this, if you like. So I'm gonna do like a realistic sort of scenario, and then maybe like a bit of a far-fetched sort of scenario, like, you know, just, I don't know. I wrote stuff like what I've done recently, but under the bit where it says, you know, what if the Nazis won the war, I've only written invade in the UK, funny. That's it. So the rest of it, I'm just going to wing it. So the Nazis, right? So I keep saying so. Anybody who doesn't know what the Nazis are, what? What's wrong with you? Everybody knows who the Nazis are, right? They invaded. Obviously, they invaded. So basically, the Nazi party, right? You had the German army that fought in World War One, and then they surrendered, and then the Germans. There was another party. I'm not too sure if. So I know Hitler. Obviously, he started the Nazi. I don't think he I'm gonna have to check. I don't think Hitler started the Nazis. I think he joined them. From what I can remember, the Nazis was like a political party, and then Hitler joined the Nazis. Again, this is just my thoughts. Don't take anything I say facts, right? I could be wrong, but I think I'm right. So he joined the Nazis and then quickly rose up the ranks, and then the Nazis ended up becoming like their own sort of army. So they started like as a political party, and then they had like factions that started, you know, going against the German army to the point where they overrun the German army, and then the Nazis became like the main sort of army within Germany. I think that's how it worked, because they were just unhappy the way World War One, or at the time the Great War, was, you know, fought on the German side. So they then, you know, ruled Germany, and then they started invading local, you know, countries. Poland, I think, was one of the first ones. Not too sure. And then you know, the rest is history. They started taking over Europe. So they took over most of Europe. And then they had obviously the Red Army, the USSR, Soviet Unions were fighting them from the east. And then you had the Allies fighting the Nazis from the west. I mean, full on history lesson here, huh? So, from my understanding, they took over France, that kind of thing. So the only thing that they had really left to take over was possibly UK. Like, I should have done my research before coming on here, but it's my thoughts. You know what I mean? This is just my thinking. So I know Italy, they were allies with the Nazis, weren't they? So they obviously took over France. Did they take over Spain? I'm gonna have to figure this out now. You know, who did the Nazis? Who did the Nazis invade? Well, who did they invade first? I think it was Poland. It was Poland. See, there you go. Who did they invade? So Germany defeated and occupied Poland, attacked in September 1939, Denmark in April 1940, Norway in April 1940. It was a busy year for the Nazis there, wasn't it? Belgium, May 1940, and Netherlands, May 1940, Luxembourg, May 1940. Bloody hell, it all happened in 1940, didn't it? France, May 1940. Hang on a second. So they took over Belgium, Netherlands, Luxembourg, and France all within 1 month. Wow. We're next to my Führer. Let's go to Yugoslavia. Took them like April 1941 to take over Yugoslavia, and then April 1941 they took over Greece. So there you go. They pretty much took. I mean, 1940 was I wouldn't say a good. Well, it was a good year for the Nazis, wasn't it? They were just like invading everywhere, all within a month as well. But I'm kind of not surprised about that. If you've ever been to Europe, especially around that area, it's very flat. Like you can see for miles and miles and miles. So if you had really, really flat surface, then, you know, getting your convoy of tanks and all that kind of stuff would be easy, wouldn't it? As opposed to try and get your tanks to go around somewhere like in Snowdonia or like the Highlands of Scotland or something like that. You know, you're going to have to, it'll be a lot difficult, basically. So I think that's probably why it was easier for them to do that. Not like, you know, they probably fought against, you know, the French, and you know, that would have slowed them down a little bit. Like, but as far as like traveling, it would have been easier to travel through them countries to invade them as it would be to invade the UK, for example. Apparently, the UK is very hard to attack because, obviously, because it's an island, and then the water around it acts like a fort. Is that, if that's the right word? So you can imagine, like, the Nazis invading Britain. They would have to go over the channel, wouldn't they? And it would be harder to go over the channel in a boat or a ship than it would be to cross borders on a flat land. Like, you know, all the Nazis were all in their big ships and stuff. No, let's invade the United Kingdom. So they start going over to over the sea, and then the United Kingdom's there, like, oh, would you look at this? We have some Nazis approaching our shores. Send in artillery. You know, like one little bomb. Oh, I've got a bomb effect. One little bomb, you know, send over a missile to that. Send over the missile. I'm trying to sound English now. Worthington, send over a missile to that boat that's approaching our shore. One little hole in that boat, the boat's sunk. Done. Everybody on board, dead. Absolutely dead. So it would be a lot harder for, you know, for an invasion to happen through sea than, like, you know, if you, you know, they're attacking France, you know, we've got some Germans coming here, attack. And they send over a missile, hits a couple of tanks, they'll just still keep going. But if you're in the water, one little explosion, your boat goes down, dead, done. So it would be a lot harder to invade the UK because of the water around it, right? But let's just hypothetically say that the Nazis did land on England, right? So you're talking what, Dover? Probably all the southeast of England. So, you know, the Nazis would then, it would be like a virus, wouldn't it? It would start at the bottom corner of Britain, and then it would just spread out. There was a thing about, like, Ireland, like the Nazis were going to attack Ireland and then occupy Ireland, and then that would be like a back door into the United Kingdom or the Britain. So then they could come from France, and then they can come in back from the back of where Ireland is, and then possibly Greenland or something like that from the north. They could have surrounded Britain and then closed in that way. But let's just say they just came through France, right? They managed to get onto the island. I mean, getting onto the island is easy. Is he trying to take over it? Can you imagine them? Can you imagine the Nazis invading Liverpool? Can you imagine that? Oh, my Führer, here is Liverpool. We shall attack tomorrow at dawn. Dawn? At dawn. Right you are. I don't... Sounded Welsh there. I don't... What does a Führer sound like? How do you do a Hitler accent? Let's just pause here for a second. How to do a Hitler accent? I want to give this guy an accent. Replace D's at the end of the word with T's. See this video. How to have a German accent.
And first of all, we want to do the zuz for the
zuz.
th.
Yeah.
And then we kind of can like break it down, because when we do the exaggerated version, we know all the differences, and then we can soften them a little bit if needed.
Yeah.
So ths sound like z.
Z.
You want to do what is called a non-rhotic accent, meaning the r's are not pronounced. So they say fa instead of for.
Yes.
Right? When we do that non-rhotic or, you also want to make it a diphthong, which usually in American we don't do. And then you want to drop the pitch. It's funny because the more I've done accent work, the more I'm like, oh, this is also vocal work, because there's so many like pitch changes, pitch differences.
I've got a clue.
From accent to accent. Let's say something. Hi, I'm Lara and I'm here in the studio.
Okay.
So, hi, my name is Lara. I'm here in the studio.
Hi, my name is Lara. I'm here in this studio.
Hi, I am the Führer. Okay, we'll go with that. Führer, we're outside Liverpool. We'll attack in the morning. That works. Can you imagine that? And then they get up in the morning and then all their vehicles are on bricks. All their windows have been smashed. Someone has stolen our vehicles. My wallet has been stolen. I cannot believe it. Whose crowbar is this? Oh, that'll be mine, lad. That's me, crowbar, lad. I suppose that the Nazis would, like, there's no way, there's no hope in hell that the Nazis could invade Liverpool. Never get their head kicked in. Know what I mean? You go to Manchester, you know, oh, Führer, we're going to go to Manchester. Let's go to Manchester. You go, like, the Führer goes there with his Nazi army, they'll just get their head kicked in. Again. Oh, it's happened to us in Liverpool, now it's happening to us in Manchester. Like, if they go to London, can you imagine the Nazis invading London? Like, once they finish invading London, about 3 days later, they'll get a congestion charge fine. They'll get a parking fine. They'll get a clean air zone fine. They'll just get fined for this, fined for that. Oh, you stopped at the yellow box crossing. That is £100, please. I don't. It is a tank. I am invading your country. What do you mean? Yeah, if you don't pay up, the debt collectors will be out to just get you. You ever been to London? Horrible. Everything in London is to get your money. Horrible place. But where else? Like, I mean, Scotland. Can you imagine the Nazis trying to invade Scotland? Glasgow? Führer, we are going to... Where next, my Führer? I can't even remember how to do the accent. We're going to... Why can't I do accents? We're going to take over the town of Glasgow. We're going to take over the town of Glasgow. Are you sure that's a good idea, my Führer? Why? How hard can it be? So they'll get headbutted. Somebody in Scotland, like, even like one person could probably take on a whole company of Nazis, like one Scottish guy. You wanna take over Scotland? Sticks the head into them, just starts beating the crap out of everyone. Madness, isn't it? Hey, my Führer, we are going to demolish this building. What is it? It's called Ibrox Stadium. You know, Hitler, he just turns around, looks at Ibrox. You know the way, like, something, you know, like the light shines from the sky like it's coming from God, and then Ibrox is just lit up. And the Führer looks at it, like, love at first sight. Little tear going down his eye. What is this magnificent building? It is the home of Rangers Football Club. It is so beautiful. I mean, my accents are... I'm supposed to be sounding like Hitler right now. When shall we destroy this building? This building must not be destroyed. The Führer has spoken. I need a football team to support while we occupy Scotland. And then, you know, but an hour later, they walk down the road. What is this building I see? It's called Celtic Park. You're my Führer. I did not give the orders to destroy this place. But sir, this is the first we've seen it. It was like this when we first came here. You mean this is the way the building is supposed to be? Yes, my Führer. What is that smell? That is the fans, my Führer. Just kidding. Kidding. You're all, don't come at me, right? I'm just joking. We must demolish this building at once. It is already demolished. Demolishing it more would only fix it. Don't come at me, okay? I'm just joking. Joking. Not joking. But yeah. Where else? Millwall? Can you imagine the Nazis trying to invade Millwall? My Führer, we have a group of men on top of the hill. I counted it around 80 to 100 men. They call themselves the Firm. Send out the troops and wipe out this firm. My Führer, yes. This is about 2 hours later. My Führer, we have suffered multiple million casualties at the hands of the Millwall football hooligan firm. How many did we get from Millwall? No, nobody. We did not hit a single person. What is our casualty rate? 3 million. 3 million soldiers dead. All is dead. I mean, I'm going from accent to accent to accent. Like, Birmingham, take it. The Nazis, hey, if you want to invade anywhere, there's Stoke, right? You can have Stoke. We're not even going to put up a fight, right? Just take it. It's yours, okay? Birmingham, just take it. It's yours. Imagine if the Nazis invaded, I don't know, like Cambridge. They would come out smarter. Wouldn't they? Go to Oxford and, oh no, we're being invaded by the Nazis. And they just get all our dictionaries and just start throwing dictionaries at them. Take that. we are going to invade Cambridge. Okay. They invade Cambridge and they leave. Did you know E equals MC squared, my Führer? I didn't know that. I do now. Like, you know what I mean? So smart. Okay, this is obviously the funny version. And then, right, once you invade, I mean, Wales, Swansea, Newport, South Wales, can you imagine the Nazis invading that place? We'll just leave that place alone. It's already screwed. I'm out. You know, the Swansea ones would just be like, get your tools. We got to get our tools and defend the country. What else have we got? Yeah, once you invade, you know, mainland Britain, and then they're like, right, now we go to Belfast. Now we invade Belfast. Northern Ireland. As soon as they get over there, like, Hitler would be a nervous wreck. He'd be having to check underneath his vehicle every time he gets out, you know, in the mornings. I must check and make sure there's no bomb underneath my car. Then he has to deal with, like, the IRA, you know? I've got a voice thing here.
Is this the Führer?
You know, his phone's ringing. Ding-a-ling, ding, ding-a-ling, ding, ding-a-ling. Hello, this is the Führer.
There's been a bomb planted. You've got 10 seconds to get the bomb before it explodes.
But I am the Führer.
Yeah, but this is Northern Ireland. We're way ahead of you when it comes to the bombs and the shootings, okay? You've got 10 days to get out of the country, or you're getting your knees shot. We're gonna get you shot if you don't leave.
What is this place, my Führer? It's called the Schenkel Road.
Hey, this is the UDA. I want to speak to the Führer, please.
This is the Führer.
We've got your pet dog held at ransom. If you do not leave the Shankill Road in the next 7 days, your dog's gonna get shot.
Not my dog, not my little poodle.
Yes, it's your little poodle. We're gonna kill it. We're gonna bury it in an unmarked grave. You'll never see your poodle ever again.
What crap am I talking here? And then you gotta invade Southern Ireland? Dublin? Good luck with that. You want to come over and take over Dublin? Is that right? Just glasses, Hitler, just stabbing them, you know? And yeah, like, come to think of it, right? I mean, I'm joking around here, but the more I think about it, how hard would it be for, like, let's say realistically, right? Let's say that nowadays, right? Because obviously we can't go back in time, right? I'm thinking about right now. So you have the Russians, obviously, right? So imagine Russia did invade UK. Realistically, the Russians would have to, like, go into Liverpool, Glasgow, Manchester, you know, Stockport, all these cities. And, you know, the Russians go into Liverpool. You think the Scousers are just going to be like, oh, you know, come on in? The Russians will have a fight in their hands, let me tell you. And this is a nation without guns. If there was an invading force, then I would say possibly the government would bring a whole shipment of weapons and then dish them out to, like, the communities to defend themselves against an invading force. That's what I think would happen. And if you give Scousers, Glaswegians, Mancunians, Cockneys, you know, all these mad, you give them weapons. These Russians, not only do they have to fight the British Army, but they'll also have to fight Scousers and stuff. And you know what I mean? Like, people say that the UK is weak. You know, if we got invaded, they would just take over us. No, they wouldn't. No, they wouldn't. They would have a fight in their hands. Let me tell you. Guerrilla warfare, right? Northern Ireland is like, I mean, the IRA was like the most sophisticated guerrilla warfare army in the world at the time. If Ireland was getting invaded, they would just come back. Guerrilla warfare, like, you can't really fight that. Like, it's like, look at Afghanistan and stuff. That was like, you know, the British Army were going in, but then the Afghanistans were fighting in the guerrilla warfare tactics. Look how difficult it made it. So when people say that the UK is weak, and if a country was to come over and invade, the UK would be screwed, that's no, not going to happen, right? Because all the government needs to do, get a shipment of arms, bring it over, and go, right, lads, you know, and if Russians come over here and try to invade us, here's weapons, shoot them, kill them, you know, and then, yeah, the Russians would be like, damn, didn't expect this. Get out of my city, lad. Oh, get out of my city, lad. You know what I mean? So if they did that, right? So let's say they did manage to invade the whole United Kingdom, which is impossible. But let's say they did. That would be all of Europe, the UK, and then let's say the Nazis took over Russia as well, the USSR. So that would leave like Asia and America. By then, obviously, America would get involved, wouldn't it? Because they'd be like, hang on a second, look at the size of this Nazi army. They're taking over everywhere. They're obviously going to invade us, and they're going to be too strong, so they're going to get involved. So I would say that would be next. I don't know how, because if you take over Russia, then surely the Nazis would then start thinking, right, we need to take over China because it's still, you know, land. So let's say they took over China, then Japan. So the only sort of places left would be like India. So let's say they take over the whole continents, right? Apart from Australia and then America. that would be it then, wouldn't it? They would probably go for Australia next, take over Australia, and then the only thing that's left is like the whole of America, North and South, and Canada. Let's say they go from the top and work their way down, so take over Canada. So the only thing that's left would be America, right? They would probably go from the bottom as well upwards. So they'll go from the top, Canada down, and then South America up, Mexico. Then all that's left would be America. And then let's say they took over America. Then that's the whole world conquered. Now the whole world is occupied by one army, the Nazis. Now I would think that let's assume that did happen in 1940, right? May 1940. So on May 1940, they took over America, and that was it. They took over everywhere. So if you have May 1940, the Nazis have completed their campaign. They've took over the whole world, right? Fast forward to today, what would that be like? So what's that, 60, 70, 80, 85 years? So let's say 1940, May 1940, it was victory for Nazis, right? They took over the world. 85 years later, I think it would just collapse. I think it would be too big. You know, like the USSR? It collapsed in the 90s, didn't it? So I don't think after all of that invasion and, you know, whatever, I don't think that it would stand the test of time. I think it would eventually collapse. But then it would collapse into a different sort of world. Like, it wouldn't collapse back into what it was before. It would be something different. It would be like 3 major continents, maybe. Like West Nazia. Is that what you would call it? Nazia? And then East Nazia. And then the Central, let's say the Central just distance themselves from Nazism. Then that would create another war. It would just be like I don't think it would stick. Like, I don't think it would last. But let's say it did. So 85 years later, we would always speak in the same language, wouldn't we? We would all have the same currency, I think. We would obviously all get taught the same stuff in school. Now, one thing I heard about Hitler was he thought that if you were to kill every disabled person, then there would be no such thing as a disabled person. That's what he thought. And obviously back in them days, you know, they didn't have the knowledge that we know now, because being disabled is not, it's not, what's the word? Contagious. It's like a genetic, like imbalance or whatever in your genes or something like that. So even if you did kill every single disabled person, there would always still be disabled people born. So his thought process was like, you know, if you killed all the disabled person, then there wouldn't be any, and humans would be as strong, whatever. But you could see where he was coming from, but obviously it wouldn't have worked. But then he also thought, I mean, he hated the Jews, didn't he? So there would be no such thing as Jews. 85 years later, there'd be no Jews. In fact, he hated Jews so much, there'd be probably, it'd be like a Nazi world 85 years later. They would just wipe out the memory of Jewish people, wouldn't they? So we'd all speak the same language. Did he hate black people? Hitler? I heard a thing that his idea of a perfect world was like blonde-haired white guys with blue eyes. Something like that. There was something like that. I'm going to sneeze. No, I'm not. So, I mean, imagine, I heard a thing, right? Hitler was an artist. He was a very talented artist, apparently. And his art teacher was a Jewish. And I think he gave Hitler a bad time or something like that, and that's where his hatred for the Jews started, was when he was a kid. And then I think a lot of the Jewish immigrated to where he lived as well, and they weren't nice people apparently, and that even fueled him even more, and that's why like he really hated the Jews. I mean, he hated them so much, 6 million, killed millions of them. So I think, you know, the Nazis took over the whole world in 1940. Now it's 2025. Nobody would even mention the word Jewish. There'd be no Jewish people left. Was Hitler racist? I mean, you have the neo-Nazis and stuff. They're all racists, aren't they? So, well, I wonder, was Hitler actually racist? Was Hitler racist? It's funny, like, whenever you type in stuff, the predictive text comes up. But whenever you type in, was Hitler gay? Hang on, let me just type that. There is no evidence that Hitler had homosexual relationships. There you go. Was Hitler racist? Let me let to miss. It doesn't. Nothing's coming up against black people. I don't know if he was, you know. I can't find anything that says that he was. Why am I Google searching stuff? ChatGPT. We'll get her on, shall we? We'll get ChatGPT on. Hey, ChatGPT. ChatGPT, can you hear me? No? No, it's not going to work. Was Hitler... See, it keeps autocorrecting me. When I write Hitler, it autocorrects me and writes filter. Hitler. Was Hitler racist? Like, why is this not working? Yes, Hitler was openly and aggressively racist. His entire ideology was built on the false belief that some human groups were biologically superior and others inferior. That racism drove the Holocaust. Damn. And the murders of millions. And this is a historic fact, not an opinion. This is a historic fact, not opinion. But was he... But was... Because that's saying he was racist towards... But was he racist? This phone has got a real problem with me typing in racist. It keeps autocorrecting me. Was he racist against black people? Yes, Hitler was racist against black people as well. Nazis' ideology ranked people in a fake racial I can't even say that word. And black people were placed near the bottom. Right? Okay, so the Nazi ideology of like the races, black people were placed near the bottom. In Nazi Germany, black people were faced discrimination. Forced sterilization, and were targeted because they didn't fit the regime's racist ideology of Iran purity. So he was. So there you go. And that would explain why neo-Nazis and, you know, the swastika and stuff and all is like a white racist thing. But so he would have wiped out basically everybody that wasn't white. So the Nazis take over in May 1940. they occupied the whole world. We all had the same currency. They're all white. What else? They all speak the same language. Would they keep English, or would everybody speak German? I think everybody would speak German, wouldn't they? So everyone speaks German. It'll probably be something like North Korea is now, where like you have to have a picture of the Führer in every single household. Well, I mean, 85 years later, Hitler wouldn't even be alive. He'd be dead by now. So what would happen if he was to die? It wouldn't last. I don't think it would last. I think it would crumble. Maybe 50 years, something like that. It would just crumble. Why did the Soviet Union collapse? That'll give you some sort of an idea. Why did the Soviet Union collapse? Decisions to allow elections with multiple party systems and create presidencies for the Soviet began the slow progress of democratizing. I would say that there'd be like political parties. So whenever let's say Hitler dies, right, then you're going to have to replace him. So there might be some sort of like a vote. And if you've got the whole world, it'll be like votes from different... I don't know. I just think it would collapse. And I think that, the Nazi world would just... I would give it 50 years tops. So what would that be? 1940. So 1990. So in the 90s, May 1990, it'll be the collapse of the Nazi world. And then, so it's at 25 years ago. So 1990, it collapses. So over the next 25 years, different nations would start forming, I think. There will be some that's like anti-Nazis. And then it would just spark another war again, wouldn't it? And then I don't think that the Nazis would then start killing everybody and taking over again and then regaining control of the whole world. I don't think that would ever happen. So I think it would collapse. So I don't think it would stand, basically. Yeah, that's what I think. I mean, what if it didn't collapse? So, this whole Nazi regime thing took over the world. I don't know, everybody is in a system that's solid. So, you have to do this. You have to, when you're a kid, you go to school. You learn about Nazism. You leave. You basically, North Korea, the way North Korea is now. I think that's what the whole world would be like under Nazi rule. To this day, like today, where like the government runs every aspect of your life, but this happens the same all around the whole world. I just imagine it would be something like, queues of people, like and barcodes in the back of your heads, and watchtowers everywhere, whips, and everyone's like, they don't even get paid. They just go and build all these war stuff, and I don't know. Crazy to think. They should make a movie about that. Is there a movie about that? Finish on this, because if there is, guess who's watching it? Is there a movie about if the Nazis won the war? Berlin, 1964, Nazi Germany, Fatherland. Takes a look at what would happen if the Nazis had survived. And even if US had never gone to war. Fatherland. Your boys watching that? Alternative story. Nazis win World War II TV series from 2011. 6.2 out of 10 stars. What would happen if the Nazis won the World War II? death camps in America. I wonder, is there a trailer for this? Because that's pretty cool. I'm gonna watch this. So I've got a TV show now to watch, and I've got a movie to watch. Now there is like, what if Hitler won World War II? We'll finish on this, will we? And then what I'm going to try and do is see if I can get the video to come up here. This will be perfect because I think I know how to do it now. So I'm going to play this video and then we'll put it. I'm going to see if I can put it down here somewhere. Probably won't happen, but I'm going to try it because I've got all day today. I just got to go to the office and pick up a couple of little things. So it's 4 o'clock now in the afternoon. I've got the rest of the evening and I'm not going to just upload this straight away. I'm going to see what I can do with this and edit it and stuff and all. But if I can, I'll put the video up here. I'll see if I can do it. But this is what would happen if Nazis win the war. Bear with me.
Had won World War II, how different would our world be today? And what would everyday life be like if Hitler had won? It might sound like a science fiction story, but this future was closer to becoming real than most people think. In the early 1940s, World War II was happening all over the world. Nazi Germany had taken over Poland and France and was bombing Britain. Hitler's army was also fighting deep inside the Soviet Union. At the same time, Japan was quickly taking over parts of Asia and the Pacific. The world was on edge. Millions of people were dying, and the
I probably should have watched this video before I did this podcast.
fighting stretched across Europe, Asia and Africa. By 1941, Germany had taken over most of Europe, while Japan had attacked Pearl Harbor, and Italy was fighting in North Africa. The Allies, which included the United States,
Why did Italy, like, why did they not just go, hey, we don't want to fight against, Europe? We're in Europe? No, so isn't that
the Kingdom and the Soviet Union were under intense pressure. It felt like the world was slipping into darkness, but things began to change. In 1942, the Soviet Union pushed back in the brutal Battle of Stalingrad, where Hitler's army suffered huge losses. In North Africa, the Allies stopped German and Italian forces, and in the Pacific, the United States defeated Japan in key battles like Midway, which seriously weakened Japan's naval power. Then in 1944, the Allied forces landed in Normandy and began freeing Western Europe from Nazi control. At the same time, Soviet forces started moving in from the east. By 1945, Germany was surrounded from all sides. Hitler took his own life in April, and just 1 month later in May 1945, Berlin was also captured. A few months
didn't he took a pill, swallowed it, and then shot himself? Because I think if the pill didn't kill him, I think it's something like that.
In August, the United States dropped atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, leading to Japan's surrender. And that's how all the...
Funny story, not funny story, but there was a guy who worked in, I think it was Nagasaki, and he lived in Hiroshima. I don't know if I'm saying that right. So whatever one that got bombed first, the atom bomb got dropped on, that's where he lived, and he survived it. And then he went to work in the other place, and they got bombed, and he bloody survived that too. This one guy survived both nuclear bombs. Well, what a weekend that guy had. What a week, huh?
powers were defeated and Germany lost World War II. But what if the Axis powers and Hitler had won World War II? If this had happened, the world would likely have been split into two massive empires. The Nazi Germany would have dominated all of Europe, North Africa and parts of the Middle East. At the same time, Imperial Japan, which was Germany's ally, would have controlled most of Asia and the Pacific, including China, Southeast Asia and maybe even parts of Australia. Britain could have been taken over, with Nazi flags flying in London. France, Poland and the Netherlands might have been fully controlled by the Nazis. The US, on the other hand, could have been isolated, weakened, or even ruled by leaders who supported the Nazis. Now let's talk about what life might have been like after Hitler's victory. Daily life would have been completely different. Nazi ideology would have shaped everything, from what you could read, watch and say to what job you could have or where you could live. There would be no free press.
I wasn't far off there, was I? I wasn't far off.
No open elections, no internet as we know it. The news would only show what the government allowed. Books by religious authors, black writers, or political opponents would be banned or burned. Schools would teach Nazi ideology, and history would have been rewritten to glorify Hitler. And worst of all, the Holocaust might never have stopped. Similarly, if we talk about economy, then there would be no free market and entrepreneurship. In Nazi Germany, the government controlled most of major industries. Private companies were only allowed to operate if they followed Nazi goals. Many factories were forced to shift their focus entirely to war production, especially after 1939. So under Hitler's rule, factories wouldn't be making phones, cars, or clothes for everyday people. Most would have been focused on building weapons, tanks, and tools for war and surveillance. Big tech
Yeah, pretty much what I said there as well, wasn't it?
companies like Google or Apple wouldn't exist because the government would have
True.
tightly controlled all technology, using it only for power and not for innovation or consumer benefit. One of the most scariest parts of this alternate future would be the complete loss of diversity, as there would be no more different cultures, religions, or traditions. The Nazis believed in the idea of a master race, and under their rule, many communities could have been wiped out completely. Religions like Judaism, Islam, and even some forms of Christianity would be banned or attacked. Cities that were once full of different cultures and voices might all look and sound the same: quiet, controlled, and lifeless. Even the way people spoke could change. German might become the main language in many parts of Europe, and even the
I mean, I got this pretty much spot on from what this guy's saying. Oh, by the way, this is the Parallel Truth on YouTube. The Parallel Truth.
music, food, clothing, and art that didn't match Nazi beliefs would be banned or destroyed. Science might have advanced, but without any concern for ethics. The Nazis were known for doing terrible experiments on people, without caring if it was right or wrong. If they had stayed in power, those cruel practices could have become normal. Medical research wouldn't have focused on helping people or curing diseases. Instead, it would have been used to control the population through forced sterilization and attempts to alter genes to fit the Nazi idea of a perfect person. This isn't just a guess. The Nazis actually did this during the war. They ran a program called Action T4, where they killed or sterilized thousands of people with disabilities. They also ran horrific medical experiments.
There you go. Right? I was speaking facts, right? How did I know that?
In concentration camps, trying to change eye colour, test endurance to pain, or studying twins, all without permission. If Hitler had won, these cruel practices might have become a normal part of science. They probably wouldn't care much about space or protecting the environment unless it helped them win wars. For example, they created the V-2 rocket, the world's first long-range missile, not to explore space, but to bomb cities like London. It was designed by Wernher von Braun, the same person who later helped the US build rockets for space. People would live in fear all the time under Nazi rule. The government would watch everything you do. Neighbours could spy on each other, and saying the wrong...
I mean, is there much difference now in the UK? Apart from the whole sterilising thing, and the government want to control everything you do and you read everything you say. That's happening.
thing could get you arrested. And this isn't just a guess. Nazi Germany had a secret police force called the Gestapo, known for arresting people who even suspected of being against Hitler. In fact, many Germans were encouraged to report.
The Gestapo, that's what we should call police to come and arrest you for social media posts. You know, if you do, like, I think it was like 17,000 people or something in the UK was arrested because of Facebook posts. That's the Gestapo coming after you.
Friends, co-workers, or even family members. There were cases where children were told to report their own parents if they spoke badly about the Nazis. Public punishments and executions would be used to scare people into obedience. Everyone would need to act loyal, even if they are not, because one mistake could ruin your life. Now, is it really possible that all of this could have happened? The answer is yes. There were moments in the war when the Allies were losing. If Hitler had invaded Britain earlier, or if the US hadn't joined the war, or if Germany had taken Moscow, the history could have turned out very differently. If Hitler had won World War II, the world would have been colder, darker, and less free. Technology would only be used for control. Religion and culture could have been destroyed. Thinking about what could have happened helps us understand how close the world came to losing everything we now take for granted. Freedom of speech, democracy, science with ethics, and the right to simply exist, no matter your background, race, or beliefs. So the lesson is clear. Freedom
Kinda
is
losing that
fragile.
already.
Peace is never guaranteed, and history can repeat itself if we stop paying attention. So while the world never saw Hitler win, we must never stop asking what would have happened if he did, because only by remembering the past can we protect the future. Today, once again, the world stands at a very dangerous crossroads. The ego of a few powerful people could push this world into the fire of war.
Right.
And this is a fire that doesn't consume those
Yeah, there you go. I mean, I wasn't far off, was I? So hopefully you're able to watch that down here, somewhere down here, or here, or up here, or something. I could put it here, couldn't I? I don't know. I'll put it on. I'm gonna work on that after I do this episode. But there you go. thank God that the brave men, women, and children of the Second World War did what they had to in order for us to have our freedom now that we have. I mean, it's what kind of a freedom have we got now? But you know what I mean. At the time, they thought what they were doing, because that guy was on the. Did you see that guy, the old guy, the veteran from World War II? And he was like, "Was it worth it?" And he was like, "No, not the state of the country now. This is what we all fought and died for this, all this, everything." You know what I mean? But still, like he said there, it'd be even worse than what it is now. But there you go, and that's us done. I am hopefully gonna figure out how to get this thing in 4K resolution. I think it might be a signal issue. So I've got a Wi-Fi booster coming, and it's coming tomorrow, and I'm gonna plug it into there, and I'm gonna hopefully fix this 4K resolution. But I'm on it. Once I get 4K resolution, then I'm pretty much, that's it now. Doing video podcasts and audio. Oh, my YouTube's advert. I need to get that on. But once they're done, that's it. Good to go. And then I could just focus on the podcast now instead of having to figure it out. I don't have to figure out how to do anything anymore. I know how to do it all. It's just a case of doing it. So there you go. Right. Thanks for watching and listening, and I'll see you on the next one. And respect to everybody who fought and died in World War II. Respect to you guys. Because if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't have freedom. We wouldn't have the Stewie's Toss podcast. See you on the next episode, guys. Cheers.